Welcome. This is another video in my NIV Bible translation. NIV stands for New International Version. And in this video, I'm going to be reading through Exodus chapter 10 and 11. And chapter 10 and 11 contain the last three plagues that God puts on the Egyptians before the Pharaoh finally releases breaks and lets the Israelites go, and gives permission for the Israelites to go out of Goshen and into the desert and stuff like that to worship God and stuff like that. So I guess if you don't know, in Exodus, at least so far at the beginning of Exodus, it's 350 years after Genesis, and basically the Israelites have become slaves to the Egyptians, and they doing hard labor and stuff like that. So, and God commanded Moses to, I guess Aaron as well. But Aaron's in there too. Moses and Aaron. They're the key figures in God's will to God's command to go and worship Him and stuff like that. Bringing them out of. He's gonna bring them out of Egypt as part of the plan. I'm as far as I know. Could be wrong. I'm no Bible scholar. I'm learning. I'm learning. I haven't even read all the way through Exodus. I've only read all the way through chapter 12 at the time. I mean, all the way through chapter 11 as of this writing. As of this video. So yeah. If you're on YouTube, if you want, check out the playlist. At the beginning of the video, first few seconds, there will be a little card in the right hand corner. And click it. Playlist will be there. It'll show all my NIV Bible content that I've recorded to date. Yeah. All right. So chapter 10. All right. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go to Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the hearts of his officials, so that I may perform these miraculous signs of mine among them, that you may tell your children and grandchildren how I dealt harshly with the Egyptians, and how I performed my signs among them, and that you may know that I am the Lord." So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said to him, "This is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says. How long will you refuse to humble yourselves before me? Let my people go so that they may worship me. If you refuse to let them go, I will bring locusts into your country tomorrow. They will cover the face of the ground so that it cannot be seen. They will devour what little you have left after the hail, including every tree that is growing in your fields. They will fill your houses and those of all your officials and all the Egyptians, something neither your fathers nor your forefathers have ever seen from the day they settled in this land till now." Then Moses turned and left Pharaoh. Pharaoh's officials said to him, "How long will this man be a snare to us? Let the people go so that they may worship the Lord their God. Do you not realize that Egypt is ruined?" Then Moses and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh. "Go, worship the Lord your God," he said. "But just who will be going?" Moses answered, "We will go with our young and old, with our sons and daughters, and with our flocks and herds, because we are to celebrate a festival to the Lord." Pharaoh said, "The Lord be with you if I let you go, along with your women and children. Clearly you are bent on evil. No, have only the men go and worship the Lord, since that's what you have been asking for." Then Moses and Aaron were driven out of Pharaoh's presence. And the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over Egypt, so that locusts will swarm over the land and devour everything growing in the fields, everything left by the hail." So Moses stretched out his staff over Egypt, and the Lord made an east wind blow across the land all that day and all that night. By morning the wind had brought the locusts. They invaded all Egypt and settled down in every area of the country in great numbers. Never before had there been such a plague of locusts, nor will there ever be again. They covered all the ground until it was black. They devoured all that was left after the hail. Everything grown in the fields and fruit on the trees. Nothing green remained on tree or plant in all of Egypt, in all the land of Egypt. Pharaoh quickly summoned Moses and Aaron and said, I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you. Now forgive my sin once more and pray to the Lord your God to take this deadly plague away from me. Moses then left Pharaoh and prayed to the Lord, and the Lord changed the wind to a very strong west wind, which caught up the locusts and carried them into the Red Sea. Not a locust was left anywhere in Egypt, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let the Israelites go. Then the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand toward the sky so that darkness will spread over Egypt, darkness that can be felt. So Moses stretched out his hand toward the sky, and total darkness covered all Egypt for 3 days. No one could see anyone else or leave his place for 3 days, yet all the Israelites had light in the places they lived. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and said, where was I? Brain fart. Alright. Okay, yeah. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let the Israelites go. And then the plague of darkness, I'll start back there. Then the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand toward the sky so that darkness will spread over Egypt, darkness that can be felt. So Moses stretched out his hand toward the sky, and total darkness covered all Egypt for 3 days. No one could see anyone else or leave his place for 3 days. Yet all the Israelites had light in the places where they lived. When Pharaoh summoned Moses and said, Go worship the Lord, then he did. Go worship the Lord. Even your women and children may go with you, and only leave your flocks and herds behind. But Moses said, You must allow us to have sacrifices and burnt offerings to present to the Lord our God. Our livestock too must go with us, not a hoof is to be left behind. We have to use some of them in worshiping the Lord our God, and until we get there we will not know what we are to use to worship the Lord. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he was not willing to let them go. Pharaoh said to Moses, Get out of my sight. Make sure you do not appear before me again. The day you see my face, you will die. Just as you say, Moses replied, I will never appear before you again. But he does. Now the Lord had said to Moses, I will bring one more plague on Pharaoh in Egypt. After that, he will let you go from here, and when he does, he will drive you out completely. Tell the people that men and women alike are to ask their neighbors for articles of silver and gold. The Lord made the Egyptians favorably disposed toward the people, and Moses himself was highly regarded in Egypt by Pharaoh's officials and by the people. So Moses said, This is what the Lord says. About midnight I will go throughout Egypt. Every firstborn son in Egypt will die. From the firstborn son of Pharaoh, who sits on the throne, to the firstborn son of the slave girl, who is at her handmill, and all the firstborn of the cattle as well. There will be loud wailing throughout Egypt, worse than there has ever been or ever will be again. But among the Israelites, not a dog will bark at any man or animal. Then you will know that the Lord makes a distinction between Egypt and Israel. All these officials of yours will come to me, bowing down before me and saying, Go, you and all the people who follow you, and that I will leave. After that I will leave. Then Moses, hot with anger, left Pharaoh. The Lord had said to Moses, Pharaoh will refuse to listen to you, so that my wonders may be multiplied in Egypt. Yeah, I'm struggling to talk this video, man. Moses and Aaron performed all these wonders before Pharaoh, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let the Israelites go out of his country. Yeah. Pharaoh is just something else, man. But anyway, yeah, that was chapters 10 and 11. Little rocky. I'm contemplating whether I should redo it. I don't know. Maybe one day. but the word is there though. But yeah, that's it. In chapter 12, I'm pretty sure it's gonna go through and all that stuff, and they're gonna leave and all that stuff. But I don't know yet. I haven't read through Exodus 12.